Welcome, Shubham. It's a pleasure to have you, and thanks for sparing the time. And I actually wanted to put you on the spot, literally, by asking you for your honest, good, bad, and ugly opinions about your journey with Ayurkula. And so, maybe we can start with like how and what made you join the Ayurkula community, its workshops and things.
Sure. Yeah. Thank you for first of all for considering that my feedback is of any value here. Um, there were a few reasons why I joined. A, you are conducting it, so I have an inherent interest in what you say and do. So there, I didn't have to go do any background check. I know the source was the source of truth. So two, growing up in India in a typical Indian family, Ayurveda was already a big part of how our lifestyle was. Like we used to go to Ayurvedic doctors. One of my relatives was an Ayurvedic practicing doctor. So, the concept wasn't new to me. We all know the power of Ayurveda in our ancient science. So all this it was a natural inclination to see what else, since you had that unique way of tying it to the modern science, that was what made me more inclined to hear and observe what more there is, which, we know a lot of things, but we kind of don't practice in our day-to-day lives. So this was a trigger moment. And as I sat through, I have to be honest that what you shared continuously was like a treasure trove. So the one thing is we shouldn't try to take that whole thing as a magic like this. वो तो खजाना है, that is not everybody can adapt and adopt every single thing that we have shared. So, and in general, in my life, my practice has been सब जगह ज्ञान बढ़ रहा है, so observe everything that you can and then pick what suits and works for you, because only then you can, if I cannot sustain it, then it is of no value, of no help to me. And only those things I can be able to sustain, which resonate with me, that I can do it day in, day out. So it was kind of nice to hear all you talk about the happiness triad, how the food that we eat, we kind of, in our daily lives, we just started eating whatever junk comes our way, especially in a busy lifestyle with work and school and family. So thankfully, in the last year and a half, because of the extra time that I got personally saving in the commute, I was able to learn from whatever was shared and kind of put specific pieces into practice about just in general having a good lifestyle, just watching what I eat and when I eat and how I eat. I'm not splurging. I'm not eating in a hurry anymore. I'm not eating whatever comes in front of my eyes. I am making a conscious choice of as much as possible eating healthy. I still eat junk. So, in full disclosure, I don't think I'll ever be able to get away from that, because I mean, you have said that yourself, that if there is no life, if there is no what's the word that you use?
Selective indulgence.
Selective indulgence. Yes. So I still do that. But I've been watching what we eat. We have been, due to courtesy of the pandemic, good way or bad way, it gave us more time to plan how and when we should eat our food. I try to have more meals in the early part of the day, start early, have early breakfast, timely lunch, and a very, very light dinner portion around 6 or 7. Trying not to eat much after the sun goes down. It has helped my sleeping pattern. At least 8 hours of good sleep. So everything came together, at least well for me personally, because I noticed, and I can mention that in February 2020, when I went for my annual well visit, My weight was somewhere in 160s, 162 or 163, around that. In the last year, because of the way I've been able to adapt and adopt some of the key useful things that I learned through Ayurveda, now my weight is in the 140s. So I've pretty much been able to control 15 to 20 pounds of the erroneous and the extra fat from my body that I've been able to eliminate. And in part, thanks to Ayurveda for enlightening and showing the way towards that. Thank
Yeah,
you.
and I don't think you were trying to adopt any crazy
No.
Approaches of a magical potion or 20 pounds in 20 weeks or 5 weeks or 1 week kind of an approach. It was rather not focusing at all on how one looks or weighs, but rather than just trying to be yourself, and then automatically things emerge and fall in place.
Yes, that's exactly what my focus was. Never to lose weight. The focus was to become better. This was a byproduct, a positive byproduct of the health, the changes that I made to the lifestyle, like good, proper food, proper exercise, proper sleep, and all the breathing sessions that we had. I am a culprit that I don't do it on a daily basis. I have to learn that a little bit from Kushi, because she does it, and she implores and encourages me, nudges me very often to do it. I do it off and on, but not a set time of the day. So that's one area, if I have to see over the next in future where I can improve, is to do a little bit more of a pattern to the breathing exercises. That
I think we will force it upon you, because when we have these at least to the very least by monthly sessions, then you can join in and attend, and so that it puts a discipline on you, right?
Yes,
and that should be helpful. But I think I was curious also, because you're right, one has to adapt what you pick and choose, because you have to first acknowledge what your body is and type is, and what is it that works. What works for one A will not work for B, and will not work for C, and so there's no one magical pill. But at the same time, I mean, I'm sure when you walk the talk, as you are saying, it is not that it just can be done like randomly. So who would be, in your opinion, because at the most thing I'm trying to put you on the spot here, is like, as we try to grow this, and you have to grow a self-sustaining community, but more really important is, how do you reach out to folks who you think would really benefit? Like, what does it take? There is this side, both sides of the equation, where there can be a knowledge, information / wisdom share or givers, and the other could be, while it takes a village, but then it always needs a certain kind of a person or a mindset. How do we address that?
if I can put it in one statement, it would be anybody who wants their tomorrow to be better than today, health-wise, this is a perfect platform for them to attend. And as you said, sometimes when you are, when you make yourself accountable towards something, then you are on the hook, and it automatically brings a little bit more discipline. That is what happens. So that could be one message that I would say. That's what I keep, whoever I talk to, that's what I say. But also thinking aloud, one of the challenges that you might face is, slowly things are beginning to get back to normal. So when people start commuting back to their offices or wherever they are living, especially in this northeast area or the New York City region, there may be a little bit more conscious effort that may be required of those people to, to make themselves that extra bit of time to do what is the right thing. I'm a little bit worried that I may see a little bit of a downward curve in all the positives that I have gained over the last year and a half.
Right.
Once I start going back to my workplace in the fall, where then again it just kind of throws off the balance. You're again kind of chasing the clock. if you're not chasing the clock, you have time to think and reflect. When you're chasing the clock, you are kind of bound by what comes in front of you. So I have to be very careful on that aspect.
I think there are two elements you raised there, and which are very critical. One obviously is this, whether humanity thinks that this bad situation that happened with the world, is it a switch on and switch off and things are back, so do they need to fundamentally change things? Are we living in ignorance? You can only try to make people appreciate the fact that it isn't a one shot solution. And the other one, of course, is also, I think, is introspecting and deciding what's important for you or me. So when we once decide that this is important and we give it a certain weight in the return on time or whatever effort model, if you may say so, then you would allocate some time, because however busy we might be, we can always, instead of us looking for an excuse to be busy about things, we can always choose to, like, prioritize. And it doesn't have to be a very intense, deep effort. Even if the frequency is regular, I would say that things should work out. But yes, it requires consistent commitment.
Yes.
And facing the truth.
Yeah. Hopefully, having seen some of the benefits, it's like the snowball effect, right? Once you have seen a positive change, you're more likely to stay associated with things that led to that positive change, especially if you're conscious about your health. Because if you are healthy, it's like there is nothing like person-to-person marketing, right? Or somebody who saw me in the past and sees me now obviously sees the difference, and they ask, and I'm happy to share. So even if I'm able to convince one more person to adapt and adopt that kind of a positive change in their life, one person can bring change in one person, and that's a mini measure of success for us, right?
Yeah, it's a multiplier effect, I guess.
Multiplier effect, yes.
Yeah. So I think that is wonderful, and I will not keep you too long. And if you have any magical nuggets to share with us, absolutely do. And we look forward to your continuing the Ayurkula journey, because you become the role model, a sort of a founder, a person with a stake of spreading the good word, and also, like, helping people on the way, because it's almost like, if he or she can do it, so can I. Yeah. And it's not what did you do, but it's just embracing change, right? So, and there's a lot of feedback effect, and the wrong and positive and negative feedback. So what we want is to try and create the positive feedback.
And good change is always slow.
So yes, there is no speed dial to this.
There's no speed dial. I mean, speed dial reverts back with double the speed.
Yes, absolutely. The change is what you own. It becomes your own thing, and nobody else. It's you own it. But having said, I would let you go back to work, and because we do need people who are doing well in life in all ways.
Yeah.
And look forward to more of our conversations. So we'll continue the journey.